This is not really the video that you may think it is. Some people may click on the video thinking, oh, it's just some other dumbass spouting nonsense and just trashing on Pokemon Champions again. We've already heard it 10 million times. That's not what I'm trying to figure out at all. Pokemon Champions is good for what it is. The official competitive format having its own platform, VGC having its own way of playing outside the main lane games. They detached it so then they can make changes easier and patches easier so they don't have to wait until the next generation to do so. That's not something I have an issue with. I have an issue with an overarching problem across the last many years that this Pokemon Champions is the current symptom of, because it keeps happening again and again and again. And that is the death of 6v6 singles. Now, we have a lot of things to get off my chest, and that kind of starts with the history of 6v6 singles and why it is so important leading up to these last several years where it's just been unable to do anything. Now, we're gonna go back with as far back as Generation 4 and Generation 5, where I'm not 100% sure. I'm getting a little bit of a conflicting report on if they had a battle timer. I don't remember it, because I remember Wi-Fi battling, or at least battling with my friends local. Maybe it wouldn't have that then, a battle timer then on local connection versus Wi-Fi. But this is, of course, a video by Hayden. If you really need to get an idea of like what's going on in the background, where it comes from, anything I use is in the links in the description. So give a shout out there. But I don't really remember a battle timer being in too much of an effect. Now, it doesn't really matter because most battles got completed like well below the actual time limit itself. You can see it in Generation 6 and 7, which is where Wi-Fi battling, live Wi-Fi, 6v6, all that exploded, especially with the addition of, or like the incarnation, like where Pokemon Draft League originated. It originated in Generation 6 by Steve Magnitude, and this kind of reinvigorated everybody's idea, because everybody wanted to make content all of a sudden. Realistically, back in 2013 when this started, you were seeing more 6v6 Wi-Fi battling than the official format VGC. You still got VGC content, but a lot of the time it was this. This is the content. And I think I just answered my own question on why they might be trying to kill it. I'm not saying that that Pokemon is trying to just suppress this as much as they can, but now that I've said this out loud, I kind of just had an epiphany. Maybe that's why. This is something that's literally happening live. I am just thinking this. What if the reason why they're not including 6v6 singles in Pokemon Champions or anything recently, Scarlet and Violet, Pokemon Sword and Shield, that game sucks so bad that I forgot its name, because they don't want that to be the main battling content that people see. So they're silently doing this. I mean, it's kind of a crackpot theory, but in reality, if they have their main format, why would they want to have a different format front and center on cartridge? You know, you think about it, but that kind of goes beyond the point of the main issue at hand. That's just a theory, so I don't want to spread that too far out, but honestly, I think that would be a crazy... It's a crazy idea, a crazy thought, but it's not too far out of the realm of possibility from an advertising standpoint. So, the other things I want to say is when Generation 8 started, this is kind of the first thing that I saw, because I remember in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, they were thinking, oh yeah, a 20-minute timer, or like it was a 20-minute timer, but you know, there's like less than 100 Pokemon that you'd actually use in that competitive format, so nobody really batted an eye. However, when this happened, you can even see it when Shofu here realizes what's going on.
Oh, okay. Battle
the 20-minute timer ends, and this dude kind of loses his mind. Now the issue with this,
no possible way.
Now the issue with all of this is, look at how many animations this is. The reason why it was so bad to drop it from 60 to 20 minutes is look out how many animations this is. The timer doesn't pause through all the animations. The timer continues to go through all these animations. And look at this. You have the actual attack animations, but then you have leftovers, his Rotom Wash is burned, his... And then the Dynamax thing. You have all of those animations that cut and chip away into that battle timer, and there's literally nothing you can do for it. And that's the main problem at hand. You cannot finish a Pokemon Wi-Fi battle 6v6 at all in these restrictions. You just can't. And there are certain ways people have gotten around it. It basically killed Draft League, but the people who liked Draft League tried so many ways, such as, I think there was a, not a server in Generation 8. I don't really remember what it was, but the way people would do it is they'd connect some way with a friendly competition to allow the access of the chess timer in Generation 8, because we still didn't get it back in Generation 8. All you had was the chess timer. Once all these animations can finish, you can see your time up on the top right. Oh, you can't see it above the behind the flame. I gotta move your stupid dumbass head, dog. Okay, but then after that, we were thinking, oh, maybe with a new Generation 9, so many people have complained over the last 3 years about not being able to battle 6v6 singles, something that we've been used to for so many years. But Just Weavile, of course, has where it says bring back the timer. It's kind of cut off, but you can see that this is only 7 minutes into Just Weavile's video. And it's still not any better. Terra still has a wild, crazy animation, so it's still not the same, or it's still just as the same. And you can see the match timer, and my stupid head's in the way again. You can see the match timer right there, only being 13 minutes left, and that's not even accounting. Like, the battle itself started around like the 2-minute mark, and all of a sudden it's around 13 minutes. You're not gonna finish anything. So still, these people, including me, of course, still were waiting for any way to 6v6 on cartridge, because, for me, I really enjoyed the presentation of how everything worked. Plus, and other people are saying, but Showdown is there. You at least have Showdown. There's a reason why I don't like playing on Showdown in comparison to cartridge. Now, there was an update for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that people enjoyed seeing, especially Draft League, because it kind of did revive Draft League, but while it wasn't as convoluted as Sword and Shield's way of doing things, or at least Draft League, it's still kind of annoying that you have to schedule a friendly competition and then do it that way, and then set it up that way. It's still a bunch of hoops that you have to jump through, which realistically is not ideal if you just want to do a regular 6v6 singles match. The Draft League people, they'll try anything to get it to work on cartridge. Pokemon is not trying to balance around the singles format. They're balancing around VGC, so there's no reason to create a ladder for a format that they're not supporting. Like, it's never going to work. What everybody was hoping to see was that the private lobbies that you could potentially put in the way to do 6v6 singles, so you can at least still play it on a Wi-Fi battle, like how we've done for so many years before Sword and Shield came out. But unfortunately, not only there isn't any 6v6 at all, you literally cannot change anything about the settings. You are stuck with whatever they have. You can't do anything at all. No customization at all. It's literally stuck to your outfit. So what do we do about that? And some of the arguments against 6v6 is kind of crazy, and it's just that's the vibe I'm getting from some of these arguments, such as like the person who I'm replying to here. Champions OU is literally impossible because there's zero support for 6v6 anywhere in the Champions application. That's true. There's not. Any 6v6 small gun format will just be fan fiction. Well, of course, you're never gonna get Smogon format onto a cartridge. It's just not possible. That's the thing about 6v6 in itself. Sure, you're gonna get the people that will bring all the quote-unquote illegal, like the uber legendaries, in the uber tier in Smogon, but the whole point was people wanted to find other people who would play that format in the game like how it was in Generation 6, Generation 7, before they capped the timer back at 20 minutes. My response is, Gen 8 had zero Smogon format support, but it was still possible. Nobody was asking for Smogon format to be built into Champions. Only a way to make 6v6 even possible. Literally, there is no argument. Nobody was expecting Smogon to have any effect whatsoever. It was just, there has to be a way for a battle simulator to have a way to battle how people are normally taught in the actual games themselves. Like, how are we... Like, there should be at least some distinction between the actual esport of competitive Pokemon and the other, like, the way that you will learn it in the games. Unless you're completely trying to separate the two, which is a whole different story. The reply is correct. Like, and I've said it throughout this entire video. It's not, like, 6v6 is not an official competitive format. So they do at least acknowledge that. I have seen the argument that really grinds my gears on both sides. But the idea is, why people think that the maximum 60-minute timer equals taking forever. That's not how it works. Everybody got through it fine back for so many years. Why all of a sudden would they remove it? Which is why I'm thinking that they don't want the 6v6 content on YouTube or anywhere else championing over the actual VGC format. I think I might be cooking with something. While that one wasn't nearly as bad, this one is a whole other delusion. Wait, you mean the VGC simulator doesn't work with the fake fan-made format? Fake fan-made format. Yeah, totally. You know, like the fan-made game Pokemon Red, where you battle 6v6 against the champion Blue. Or, you know, like Pokemon Gold and Silver. That fan-made game. Oh, that's great. I totally remember battling Lance 6v6. Oh, that fan-made game Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Oh my, I love Pokemon. Like, I love battling Cynthia with 6 Pokemon in that amazing fan game. Take. But it's this one, it's this argument right here that I still don't understand whatsoever. Now, Nexus says, does this mean there's no 6v6 battles in Champions? Has anybody tested this? RIP Draft League, because of course there isn't. But this, just use Showdown. Do you want to know why? Seriously, do you want to know why I don't like playing Showdown? Because for so many years, I was used to, A, the presentation like I mentioned. I like the presentation more than I do Showdown. Showdown is just like a boom, boom, quick, pretty much no animations. It just gets right into the nitty-gritty, which is fine if you want to speed things up. But it also doesn't really have a true battle timer. I think they have a chess timer. But the one thing that I like and why I prefer Wi-Fi battling on cartridge more than Showdown is the fact that A, the pacing throws me off. It really does. I pick a move and then it just goes so fast that I can't think about what I need to do next. What if this happens? What if that happens? It just goes really quick and then I'm back on the clock again trying to pick a move, which picking a move, you can cancel it. You can cancel moves in Pokemon Showdown, and why that is such an issue with me is because I don't have that feeling of commitment. In Wi-Fi, you have to commit to picking a move. Once you pick a move, it's locked in. You can't change it. But if you're on Showdown, if you're picking a move, like, you can second guess yourself. You can keep canceling it. So it just doesn't feel as authentic as... I shouldn't use the word authentic. I think the better term is it just doesn't feel as much of a commitment as Wi-Fi. When you click that move, you guarantee you put that much thought into it before actually choosing the move, rather than clicking the move, second guessing yourself, thinking about it, and it's just all this other convoluted things that start to snowball down the hill. Alright? So if you ask me to use Showdown, that lack of commitment makes, it is just the pacing, the lack of commitment that you can make in a move, and the lack of presentation that actually makes things a splendor, a spectacle on Wi-Fi. And I know I'm probably gonna bring out a lot of people, not really a lot of people. I don't even know if this is gonna be even seen. I just wanted to get all this stuff out there on what they're really talking about, which is hilarious if I really hit the nail on the head, with why they're not really trying to support this at all. But you could say that you enjoy playing 6v6 competitive Pokemon and hundreds of people will call you insane. And of course, there's a lot of people that are saying like this. And I really, really like... Oh, I blocked it the entire time. I really, really like this person's response. I literally started with Smogon. It was a great introduction to competitive Pokemon. Doing draft leagues was so helpful. This is why I never talk bad about Smogon guys, because I was there. All I did was shift to doubles OU and then to VGC. 6v6 is fun. VGC is fun. Pokemon is fun. And if that isn't the biggest indicator, if this guy's response isn't the biggest indicator on how Pokemon should be, then I don't know what is. I have been kind of interested in VGC since I know somebody that actually goes to competitions and plays it. There's a lot that goes into the thought process of VGC. To advertise this game as play the way you want and not let me do 6v6 private lobbies. Now, that's a little bit of an overstatement in my opinion, but more or less that first part, how can you advertise this game as play the way you want? Well, except you can't play 6v6. You can't play with these Pokemon. Oh, you can't play with these items. You can't play with these attacks. Now, I feel like that early take is a little bit dated, a little bit old. One, because it's like we're having deja vu with Dexit all over again. People are complaining about not having Pokemon available, and it's like, you're right there. Like, we just had this argument 7 years ago with Pokemon Sword and Shield, so this is nothing new. I don't know. I tried getting all my thoughts out right now, and it all might have just seemed like a giant mess. This video might have been just a 52 card pickup. I tossed all the cards, see what I could pick up, see what I can cover. It's gonna be interesting bringing this to light, but is this really the death of 6v6? With the way I described it earlier in the video, I really might be onto something. Really. They want to see more VGC content, not 6v6. Imagine that. Imagine if that's right.